Mighty number 9. They pushed it back for the 3rd time. We're just hearing this news, and it's very upsetting. So we've been waiting 6 months for this game to come out originally. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to bitch and complain. If the game is done right, and it comes out, and it's a masterpiece, and it's all that Mega Man that I ever wanted and could have hoped for, then it gets a pass. And that goes for all games, because there's nothing like getting a game rushed out that you're looking forward to, and it being a giant piece of shit. One of the original illustrators from the Mega Man series is known as Keiji Inafune. That's how I'm going to pronounce the name because I really have no idea how to say it. Keiji Inafune was one of the original illustrators on the Mega Man series. A lot of people considered him the father of Mega Man. He's been there since the beginning. No, he wasn't the creator. He didn't even create Mega Man himself. After Mega Man 10 released on the Xbox Live Arcade and whatnot, everyone was wondering what's going to go next. What's going to happen next with the Mega Man series? Keiji Inafune made a Kickstarter, a crowdfunding page to develop his own Mega Man series, and it was ridiculously successful. He pulled in, I think, upwards of like $3 million, which I'm happy, because as long as I get another Mega Man game, I'm happy. So with that being said, I originally was going to come on and do a review of the original 6 Mega Mans on the NES, the original Nintendo Entertainment System, in honor of the release of Mighty number 9 coming out this month. But unfortunately, with the pushback, I will now be doing a review in honor of Mighty number 9 coming out a little bit later. Supposedly, I think rumored I heard at the end of May, May 31st, somewhere I think I seen is the new release date, which I also believe is Doom's release date. Ugh. If you had a Nintendo, you played a Mega Man one way or another. Actually, if you had any system, you probably played some alteration of Mega Man, Mega Man X, anything in the series, one way or another. So let's take a look at the original 6 Mega Mans in the series so I can give you guys my opinion on which ones were the best and which ones were the worst. Let me just start off by saying that no game in the Mega Man series for the original NES I would consider a bad game. All of them are at least fun to play, definitely worth giving all of them a shot, at least one playthrough, but some of them are just better than others, and much better than others, because they get that good. Some of them are a masterpiece. But the first game I want to talk about is Mega Man 5. So what could be said about Mega Man 5? It was one of the last games to come in the original series. A lot of what was in the game has been done before. There was nothing too special it brought to the table. I believe Mega Man 5 was the first game to introduce Beat, who you get if you got all the little secret power-ups in the original levels. So you could call him Beat to come around, follow you, shoot at other bad guys, shoot at the other robot masters, which was cool. That some of the bosses in Mega Man 5 started to become, say, unusual, and starting to get a little out there. I mean, when every year they're coming out with a game with 8 different robot masters, I guess, you know, it was bound to happen sooner or later. But this one had some of the least memorable bosses, in my opinion. I'll never forget Starman, for example. I thought it was one of the worst sprites I ever seen. The original series of Mega Man is noted for its insane difficulty on many of the games. Mega Man 5 took a big step back in that perspective. The game was not that difficult. It's definitely one of the easy ones that most people can just pick up, play, and you know, they'll get through the game sooner or later. I can't really think of any particular parts that was like insanely difficult. I think the first Wily stage was kind of hard at some parts. There's these white tigers that took like a lot of damage, that would jump at you, and when they hit you, they take a lot of health. And if you move back, it would respawn. You know, like old Nintendo. The second they come off you go off the fucking screen, the bad guys all come back, and you're gonna fight him again. If you didn't kill him, then the original bad guy is still there with you, and then they just pretty much gang stomp you, and that's the end of Mega Man. This series is also noted for its awesome fucking soundtrack. Unfortunately, in Mega Man 5, it drops the ball in that aspect as well. The audio is not even close to as gratifying as the other games in the series. There's maybe 1 or 2 songs. I think maybe it was the boss music I liked, but I couldn't even tell you. I liked they made out Proto Man like he was supposed to be the bad guy. So you go the whole game expecting to fight him. The castle, instead of Wily's castle, is Proto Man castle. It includes this robot called Darkman, who you fight in various forms, a total of 3 times going through Proto Man's castle, and then at the end of the game it turns out that it wasn't really Proto Man behind everything. It was all a big fugazi, and Dr. Wily was the mastermind behind all this evilness. But that's it. I mean, Mega Man 5, I would say overall, is below average for a game a little bit. Maybe like a 6 out of 10. Definitely playable. Definitely give it a shot. Play, see what it is. See what it's all about. I mean, you got all the special moves that came after 3. You got your charge, M-Buster. You got the slide incorporated in it. The special power-ups Mega Man got in the game, they weren't too special either. So that's it for Mega Man 5, coming in at number 6 in this countdown. Mega Man 4 is a good game. I consider it like the standard of the Mega Man games. It was the second one I played? I'm not sure. I remember playing the demo of it at Funkoland, which was where we bought our video games from before GameStops existed. And you'd pick out the game by looking at cool cover art, and they let you demo it over in their Nintendos or Sega Genesis, whatever they had available. And Mega Man 4 was fun. It really was. This is where the slide started with the Robot Master starting to get a little weird, if you ask me. Like Dustman was kind of strange, Ringman, Toadman. They were okay. They were weird. But then again, he had some memorable ones. Pharaoh Man was cool. Skullman, that was the first level I picked. I thought, you know, when you're a little kid, it's like, oh, skeleton. Skeleton and a robot. That's awesome. I gotta go after that motherfucker. So you're going to notice the difficulty in Mega Man 4 is also not that challenging. Maybe a little harder than Mega Man 5. Nothing that the average gamer can't beat, given enough time to play it. One of the most iconic things that Mega Man 4 introduced was the charge shot on the Mega Buster, which was mind-blowing at the time. I loved the Mega Buster, being able to be charged up. I do feel overall, with games 4, 5, and 6, you know, it did maybe kind of take away a little bit from the original experience, because literally the entire time you play Mega Man's 4, 5, and 6, the 3 with the chargeable Mega Buster, you do not let go of the charge button. Every time you go through one screen to the next, that button's held down, and you do it the whole game. It's a really fun playthrough. The music in it is pretty good. You know, no songs in the game really stand out. Again, maybe 1 or 2, but none of them are bad. None of them you want to just turn off while you're playing it. You know, all of it does its job going through the levels. Just nothing too spectacular for me. The whole time in Mega Man 4, you believe you're going after Dr. Cossack. Then when time comes to fucking fuck his ass up, you beat the shit out of him, and then his daughter comes and is like, oh, it's my father, he's a real good guy, you know, don't hurt him, please. It was all this other man's fault, and then there you go, Dr. Wily. So then next, you gotta go through the whole Dr. Wily castle after you already went through the whole Dr. Cossack castle, and you gotta fight all his bosses leading up to the Dr. Wily final fight. It was cool. You know, was it expected by this point? Probably not in 4 so much as it was in the later games 5 and 6. So Mega Man 4, it's a fun game. It's average. It is just like the regular Mega Man game if you ask me. Maybe like a 7 out of 10. So Mega Man 4 comes in at number 5 on this countdown. The next one on this list gets a ton of shit. I see it everywhere. I looked into the forums, into the boards, people shit all over Mega Man 6. A lot of them think it's a horrible game, the weakest in the series. Personally, I don't feel that way. I feel that Mega Man 6 is definitely better than Mega Man's 4 and 5. It was the last of the original series. I feel they amped up the difficulty more than they did prior in games 4 and 5. Some people say it's easy, the easiest one in the series. I don't see that. I remember having a nightmare trying to beat Plant Man stage as a kid. The part with the springs and the fucking fishes jump up and there's everything flying around and the chop face Mousers are shooting at you and there's the plants with the life that's not even going to do anything for you because if you get hit, you're just going to fall in the fucking water and just die immediately. I like the level design in Mega Man 6. I like the bosses. Even the story was kind of cool. In this one, there was a Mr. X who came around and he started this big robot tournament, and all the best fighting robots were going to all join up and kill each other. Of course, by the end of the game, after Mega Man defeats Dr. X, it's not Dr. X, it's Dr. Wily behind everything. Like I said, we've seen it basically in every game from 3 onwards. You know, can't say I didn't see it coming. I also think the soundtrack started to improve also in 6. The Dr. Wily level theme I thought was awesome. I liked Plant Man's theme. And there's a couple other levels. The intro theme was pretty cool too. So the soundtrack I do think stands out a little bit more than the 4th and 5th games in the series here. Mega Man 6 had really cool power-ups. I really like the concept of the jetpack power-up, or I called it the boxing Mega Man. He got all brolic and you would charge up a punch that could break through walls, and you could use to fuck up the Robot Masters too, just make them stutter or sometimes stun them. This was the only time in Mega Man I seen an ability that didn't actually drain power when you used them. Instead, you had an empty meter, and as you held the shoot button, it would charge either the flight or the strength of the boxing punch that Mega Man would throw out. I thought the levels were more extensive than Mega Man's 4 and 5. Also, I really liked how when you chose an enemy to fight, a Robot Master, it would actually show their statistics. They would pop up on screen, and you would see like their height, their weight, abilities, and a little bit about them, which they definitely used later. This set the groundwork for, I think, in like the Mega Man X series and stuff. You also seen the enemies, like their statistics and a little bio, which was cool. You know, gives you a little more to know about what you're going up against. The Robot Masters in it, I didn't think they were too crazy. I liked Nightman, Centaur Man, they were all pretty cool. I mean, Wind Man, kind of cheesy, but I think they did a better job in Mega Man 6. I do think they stepped up a little. Yamato Man, maybe they could have named Samurai Man, might sound. The abilities and power-ups, they were all fun. Definitely a little bit more of a challenge. But overall, Mega Man 6 I thought was a great game. Definitely better than average, maybe like a 7.5 out of 10, so I would definitely give Mega Man 6 a shot as well. I'd give all of them a shot. I'm going to stop saying it on the next game. So Mega Man 6 comes in at number 4 on the countdown. Coming in at 3rd, the game that started it all. And I'm not going to give it browning points just because it started it all. I'm just going to rate it on its base gameplay. Mega Man, that's it. This was the first game in the series, and in my opinion was the hardest. This game was a fucking grind. I could not even beat this game when I was young. I only beat the first Mega Man recently, only a couple years back. I repurchased it, I think, on the Nintendo Wii, and I sat there and grinded it out. When I was young, I couldn't even beat any of the Robot Masters, let alone even get to them. I remember probably one of the first times I played the game, played Electman's level, got up to the top in the cage. By the way, that was one of the coolest pre-boss rooms when you go up the ladder into his room. I don't think you see that again until the final boss in Mega Man X. And then Electman just pops up on screen and he destroys you. He obliterates you almost immediately. He shoots his He looks like a little Electro from Spider-Man, and he just destroys you. Very difficult. Very difficult, but also very rewarding. The Yellow Devil that they introduced in Wily's Castle was the part that did get me to throw a temper tantrum and probably scream and cry and throw the game out the window when I was young, because that is the part that I knew I had never beat back then. I mean, I could take him now, but it is still no walk in the park. The gameplay is bare. It's bare bones. I mean, Mega Man, he shoots and he jumps, and that's it. And you gotta build up your skill to get through the levels. It was early in the Nintendo's lifespan, so the game does look, the backgrounds are pretty bland usually. It's bright, it's fun, the game, but usually the backdrops are just like pale blue or pale purple. The levels are kind of short. There's only 6 Robot Masters opposed to 8. Instead of fighting all 8 Robot Masters in the same room at the end of Wily's Castle as you do in every other game, you actually fight them spread out through the levels of Dr. Wily's Castle. That was unique to only the first one. That was cool. You won't see that again. As for power-ups, the original Mega Man only had one power-up. It was the, I called it the Blue Bridge. When you press the shoot button, Mega Man would shoot this blue streak out of his arm that you could jump on and use as a platform. That ability was one of my favorite in the Mega Man series. I actually wish they would have brought that back, but I think it kind of made the game a little easy once you got it, because you could just cheese through whole levels, just build a bridge and run across it. There was a point system in this game. It was early on in Nintendo's life, so some of the games were still kind of adapt from, I guess, that arcade style where you'd rack up a certain amount of points and that would show how good you were. So instead of like getting just power-ups or health back, the enemies would drop these little balls, which would add to your overall score. I mean, not that anyone in their right minds probably would ever care about their score when they beat Mega Man. I don't think anyone would have give two shits about their score in this game. They would just be happy enough that they beat it. That's really all I have for this game. Moving on to the next one. Alright, and the number 2 Mega Man game is Mega Man 2. Yes, let that one soak in a little bit. I'm sure that's going to get me in a lot of trouble. I know how much everyone loves Mega Man 2, and I love it too. Don't get me wrong, the game is phenomenal. It's epic. It is one of the best games on Nintendo in general. There's no arguing that. First off, hands down, one of the greatest soundtracks ever in a video game to this day. No doubt about it. The Mega Man 2 soundtrack is a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. It is phenomenal. I wish the Mega Man 2 soundtrack would play all day long. When I got up, when I went in the shower, when I did any of my daily business, I could just listen to the Mega Man 2 soundtrack. It has some of the greatest songs in the series. The Wily Fortress theme, the opening theme, the Robot Masters itself, since like every single one had the perfect song. Woodman, Bubbleman, Metalman, all great. The character select screen. Everywhere in this game, the music was done right. You could choose between 2 different difficulties, which you haven't seen and wouldn't see for the rest of the series. They had an easy mode and a difficult mode. This was probably due to the insane difficulty of the first game, so they toned it down. And easy mode it's easy, it's really easy. Easy mode. Difficult mode is not that hard either. It's not one of the harder Mega Mans on Nintendo. Wily's Castle is difficult in Mega Man 2, and so is the final boss. So they do have a gradual increase of difficulty as the game progresses, which is done right, instead of just throwing it right in your face and letting you suffer and get beat the whole game. I'm sure we all remember going through Dr. Wily's Castle and getting up to the boss, where you have to hit him with the crash weapon, and you only have so much ammo, and if you miss one shot, you have to do half the level all over again with the falling platforms, and it was ridiculous. So, I mean, there is difficulty there. The iconic 8 Robot Master structure that you will see forever in the rest of the series did start here on Mega Man 2. They introduced more new powers into the game. Instead of just having one extra ability, there was 3 that you could choose from. They were all pretty cool. There was many memorable moments throughout the whole game, running from the dragon in Wily's Castle, fighting Wily, turning into the alien. I thought that was great. And no one will ever forget Quickman's stage, trying to not get one hit killed, jumping down all the platforms. The levels also were a lot more visually stimulating than they were in Mega Man 1. The player is really put in the environment of each stage they were on. Woodman's level, being in the middle of the woods. Metal Man's level, Flash Man's level. The backdrops were done great. The game looked fantastic. It felt fantastic. It didn't feel as choppy, some of the controls, as the first game. Basically, everything was done right. For many people, Mega Man 2 is the most beloved in the franchise for them. The day that Gears of War was remastered and released on the Xbox One, all my friends ran out, couldn't wait to get it. Hey Tom, you gotta get your ass down here. We got this great new Gears of War game. I want you to play with it a little bit. It's fun. They made the chainsaw. It looks great. You gotta come take a look at it. It's my friend Anthony. That's how he talks. I said no. No, guys. I'm like, Tommy, what do you mean you're not gonna get this? We've been waiting for this for oh God knows how many years now. What are you doing? Come on. And I was like, Mega Man Legacy Edition came out, so you guys can go fuck yourselves. And that's what I'll be doing. So I drove, actually, did I drive to GameStop? No. It was just bought on the Xbox Live Arcade. And I sat down, and the first game I played was Mega Man 2. I beat it on easy. Then when I was done, I sat back and beat it on difficult mode right after that. Mega Man 2 is awesome. I can't go a year without playing it. So definitely, if you haven't tried any of the original Mega Mans, which I'm assuming you didn't if you didn't play Mega Man 2, play Mega Man 2. You will love it. Alright, Alright, so we've made it to the peak of the mountain, to the Shao Kahn of the competition. And if anyone had trouble counting 1 through 6, maybe it'd be a surprise, but the #1 Mega Man game, in my opinion, is Mega Man 3. Mega Man 3 opens with one of the most epic fucking songs I have ever heard. Arguably the best Mega Man song out there. It's definitely top 3. Maybe one day we can go through all the Mega Man songs and make a list to figure out which one truly is the king of them all. But right out the gate, you're into it. Mega Man is back for the 3rd time around. Let's go. The music's awesome. The soundtrack on this game is stellar. It's great. It's probably not as good as Mega Man 2's soundtrack, but it's damn close. Most of the stages in the game have memorable music. Sparkman, Snake Man, the Shadow Man, the boss music. I love the boss music. Actually, in the whole series, Mega Man 2 and 3 is probably the 2 best boss themes out of the whole original 6. The difficulty was definitely amped up from the previous Mega Man 2. Though not as crazy hard as the first one, it's a lot more doable, but it's going to take more practice. Also, the bosses are more fearful. I believe they're tougher. They're more of a match than the 8 from Mega Man 2, which, if you aren't good at fighting them or thought they were tough, it don't matter, because guess what? You're going to fight them all again. This is the only Mega Man on Nintendo that I've seen do this. After you beat the original 8 Robot Masters, this new bad guy appears. His face takes over 4 of the levels you previously beat. He's called Doc Man. You're like, what the fuck is this guy? This is spooky. You go in, and the level is actually redone. It's a more difficult run-through of the level than you did prior in the original 8. Halfway through any of the levels, you fight him for the first time, using one of the previous Mega Man boss abilities, and then again at the end of the stage. By the time you're done with the 4 levels, you have fought the spirit of every single Mega Man 2 boss. Awesome. Do you get their powers? Unfortunately not. So you got to go up against them with a new arsenal that you acquired throughout the game. The length of the game is definitely longer than the last one, definitely more than the first one as well. They got your 8 Robot Masters, 4 of the redone harder levels. You have a Proto Man level, then you have Wily's Castle. The last Wily fight is great. I'll never forget fighting the big giant Wily machine. You gotta jump on his arm, you go up and you break his fucking head open, and Wily comes out. After it's all said and done, Wily falls out. Guess what? It wasn't Wily. It was a fake robot Wily. His head springs off like a fucking jack-in-a-box, and then you gotta fight the real Dr. Wily boss right after that. That's a memorable moment. The game is full of memorable areas. The levels look great. They're done really well. Snake Man's level, everything looks like a snake, fighting the snake head with the rattling floor. The power-ups, I thought they did a great job with. I thought the RC Jet was a step up. Easy to kind of cheese your way through levels once you get it. They nerfed that in the games to come after. The RC Marine that go underwater, they had that in 3 and I think 4. I mean, it was cool, but it only served purpose in like 2 minutes of gameplay of the entire game. So, I mean, that really wasn't a big deal. They brought back the fucking Yellow Devil from the first one just to bust my balls. Breakman is introduced in Mega Man 3. He's, it's almost like a nemesis structure where as you go through the various stages, you go in a room and you hear the whistle and you're like, oh shit, here he comes. And then you have like a mini boss fight against Breakman. You have to do this several times. Finally, after beating the original levels, you just have a one-on-one boss fight where after defeating Breakman, it's revealed that it's Proto Man, who was the original robot made by Dr. Light, and, you know, he's going to come to your side and help you kick ass, and he actually saves you at the end of the game. None of the bosses were really getting out there yet. They were all cool. They were all well done. Shadow Man, Spark Man, Snake Man. Top Man might have been a little definitely the easiest boss in the game. If anyone plays through, I recommend that's the first one you go after. The powers were cool. Top Man's power actually was awesome. It was one of the most unique powers around. When I say awesome, do I mean it did work and helped you fuck up enemies like Metal Blade? No, not whatsoever. That Top Man's attack could not do shit. But if you use it against the boss of the game, you kill him in one hit. Go figure. But it's fun to hop around and spin and say for the longest time you played the whole game, like, what the fuck does this do? This game was the first to introduce the Mega Man slide that you've seen so often after that. Overall, it was just a lot of fun. It was one of the most epic games I played on Nintendo. Like I said, if Mega Man 2 is a 9, Mega Man 3 is a 9.25. You know what? I'd rather put them both there like 9.5 and 9.6 would really be more like it. They really are neck and neck. It's very difficult to choose. but I just think Mega Man 3 had it all. For a Nintendo game, it had a solid story. They tried to throw several twists in there with Wily, with Proto Man, being Breakman. The Robot Masters were great, the music was great, the gameplay was great, the extra 4 levels redone was exciting to go back, fighting Doc-Man and all the original bosses from Mega Man 2 was awesome. The game was great. If you haven't played Mega Man 3, go back, play it right now. If you've got a Nintendo Wii or Wii U, go buy it on the Nintendo store. If you have Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, get the Mega Man Legacy Collection. I'm sure it's cross-platform. I would doubt it's just on Xbox, but I'm not sure. But either way, figure it out. I'd say play them all, but if you could only pick one game, I do think Mega Man 3 is the best one out of the original series. So there you have it. That's the original 6 Mega Mans listed best to worst. So I hope you all enjoyed this little video I put together. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. Put down your opinions, even though I'm sure most are just going to be that I'm an asshole and Mega Man 2 is clearly the best. But like I said, that's the way I feel. If you wanna say otherwise, put it in the comments. If you want to say I'm an asshole, put it in the comments. I'll give it a thumbs up. And when Mighty Number 9 comes out, I'll definitely come back and do a review video saying how it held up. Until then, see you next time.